Dehesa is best known for his time playing professional basketball in the PBA, commonly known as the Philippine Basketball Association. He has represented the country on the international level in the FIBA 3-on-3 tournaments, where he continues to bring pride to our country. He now is the founder and head coach of Align, where he passes on his knowledge to the youth, in hopes of helping them make their dreams come true too. Karl gives everything, he does his all, and that is what makes him the inspiring individual that he is today.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I'm your host, Mafae Velasco, and for this series, our topic is passion and purpose. For this episode, we have an empowered man, a dad, a professional basketball player, a coach, and the founder of Align to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let's welcome the amazing Karl Dehesa. Hi, Karl.
Hey, Mafae, thanks for having me. That's a really nice intro. I appreciate that.
Of course, Karl, this is why we do this, so that we can empower my guests and as well as everybody else. And, with your journey, with your story, I know that you're going to motivate everyone, most especially at this time. I'm pretty sure you've been busy also during this lockdown period. But before I ask you what you've been up to, Karl, can you please share with everyone on how you are the empowered and inspiring man that you are today?
Oh man, it took a long time to really become who I am today. It's a lot of pain in the past, struggles, and I believe that going through kinds of challenges along the way, eventually you'll lead into this whole person as you get older, right? So just not being too hard on myself growing up, and just now understanding that everything's a lesson. Every challenge that's put in front of you, every struggle, every types of adversity, they're all opportunities for you to learn and grow from. So that's what led me here today.
And now that you have built a school or classes for your passion, you're giving back now, and that's something that I appreciate about you, because you're still playing as a professional basketball player, and at the same time coaching the youth. That's something that I'm very happy with what you're doing. And can you share with everyone, why did you start your academy or your school already during your professional years of playing basketball?
Oh yeah, well, my daughter Noah, she's found an interest in playing basketball, and there's a bunch of kids in the community here where I live. So I just started doing some clinics, and all the kids started loving it. And I figured, I really enjoy coaching these kids, and especially seeing their development. It brings joy. I feel empowered to really share what I do, what I've been doing for years, and sharing it to the next generation. And doing it the way I was taught, because I've had a lot of great coaches and trainers and veterans along the way that's taught me things. So just adding my own little twist on things and sharing it to the youth now. So it really started with, working with my daughter and her friends in the community. And now it's grown up to what it is today. And I'm just super grateful to just always be moving forward and always progressing and looking at different ways to grow.
So let's rewind a little bit. Of course, you were talking about that you had great coaches when you were young, like Noah. But can you share with everyone, where did it all begin? Like, where did basketball or the game was introduced to you, and why did you fall in love with it?
It was introduced to me at a very young age. I mean, I can remember just being in the living room as a kid, me and my brother just playing on our little mini Fisher Price court, and I can remember us going to the backyard and barely trying to get the basketball up to the 10-foot rim. And that passion grew from then, just always wanting to play and get better. I'm grateful for my dad who put the ball in my hand, and my little brother who always was competition. We're only a year apart, so us constantly competing against each other, playing one-on-one every day, and just always trying to get better and really loving the game. We love playing. I love playing basketball since I was a kid, and it's really nice to see my daughter taking the love for the game on now, and it's just really. I feel at a happy place now that I'm able to coach kids and still be able to play at the same time.
And I'm sure, like my husband always tells me that he always thanks the game of basketball because it's brought him around the world. It's made him meet a lot of people that have become family. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, it's the camaraderie we get from the competition and being on a team is these are the memories. This is why we play. You know what I mean? This is these memories we'll never get back. So I've learned to really appreciate, stay present, and be in the moment because these playing years they go by very fast. And now that I'm in towards the tail end of my career, I feel like I just want to continue to enjoy the game while I can playing, and really appreciate these moments because you can't get them back. And yeah, Nick is right. Like the opportunity to travel the world. Basketball has brought me to so many great places. I was able to, be in different countries and just experience different cultures. So without it, I couldn't even. I don't even know if I'll be able to be here speaking to you about it today.
I know that you grew up in the States, right? Which part of America?
From California, Southern California.
So when you decided to come to the Philippines, was it taking a risk or did you already have a plan? Just so that, of course, there's a lot of Filipino Americans that want to pursue playing the professional route in the Philippines, just like following your lead. So how was the feeling when you took that risk and then who helped you along the way?
I never saw it as a risk because coming to play in the Philippines was always my goal of mine. To be a professional basketball player was always my goal. And when I didn't have, I know people say like have a plan B, but honestly, I didn't have a plan B. That was my only plan. And I feel that that's powerful when you are singularly focused on one goal and everything that you do falls into line with that goal. Into achieving that, that's when you'll reach it. Because if you have a plan B, you're going to be stuck in your mind saying like, okay, I have this thing to fall back on. And it's like, well, with me, like, it worked for me having this singular goal and reaching it, and now it's just opened up my whole world.
So what would be your advice to, let's say, the youth? You're a coach to them. You're actually an inspiration to a lot of them. What would be your advice to them on how to, I guess, pursue their dream? And maybe it could be somewhat an advice that you would give yourself maybe 10 years ago, or when you decided to come to the Philippines.
For sure. My advice would be to set high goals. When you set high goals, you're constantly putting pressure on yourself. And setting high goals, you'll feel a lot of different emotions. You'll feel excited, scared, nervous. You'll experience all that, and that's all part of that process of goal setting. You want that feeling of uncertainty a little bit because when you're reaching new heights, you've never been there before, so you don't know how you're going to feel when you get there. So I feel just like setting high goals, and once you set that high goal, reverse engineer it and try to figure out how to get there. And with that, you're going to constantly put pressure on yourself, constantly see challenges as opportunities for you guys to grow. And that's really what my advice is to just keep setting high goals because the power's in the mind. And when you believe in yourself, I feel like you can achieve anything.
And speaking of power of the mind, I know, Karl, you have like a special way of teaching the youth. And it's something that I guess for me, like, getting older and wiser, you understand more about life, you understand more about your body, you understand more about your nutrition. I know you're really into the mind, body, and soul. Can you share a little bit about how that came about in your life and how you're able to express it to the youth, most especially your daughter. She's how old?
She's 7. Noah's 7,
Yeah.
yeah, and I have a 1-year-old. So yeah, I can go into that. I can bring it back to when I was playing in the PBA. I, there was levels to it because I remember playing in the PBA, playing at a high level, 30 minutes a game for when I was with Kia, and getting traded and bouncing around from team to team, and just being unhappy with not playing and just practicing all day and not being able to show my skills. So then you know in that situation when I was going through that time of dealing with no playing time and not knowing why I'm not playing, I had to really do some inner work and just figure out why I'm playing again. And obviously it's for the love. I play the game. I'm in this to play, and me sitting on the bench was not making me happy. So I kind of had to divert my career a little bit and do what made me happy. And playing 3x3 and then coaching was a great balance for me. I was able to play again and coaching these kids and just teaching these kids that there's different way of doing things now. There's very much the mind and the body are connected. When you exercise, obviously you're going to be feeling good about yourself, so you're going to have a healthier mind. And everything is just connected when you take that approach.
And your company name or your school's name is basically what you explained. Is that the reason why you named a line because of what you believe in?
Connecting the mind, body, and soul on the journey to our goals, right? It's you having to achieve at a high level. You can eat right, but if you have negative thoughts, how are you going to achieve anything? So you want everything to just you want to exercise, you want to practice good habits and routines, and all these things I teach my kids on how to empower themselves and mostly mental toughness. I think we're living in a day and age where these kids everything's coming so easy for them. Instagram, social media is very instant gratification. So we want to kind of delay the gratification for these kids and understand that there's a process to doing things. There's a process to achieving great heights. So to just stay in that process and so just, bring it back down to the fundamentals a bit.
And you talk about habits. Let's just bring it back when you're playing, or maybe now you're coaching. What would be your way or your habits or rituals of hyping yourself up to have that positive mindset? Or even when you play a game, how do you hype yourself up? Because in our household, when Nick used to play, we couldn't talk. He had to listen to his his music, and we're just like no choice but to listen to it too. What does Karl do before a game or before coaching kids?
I mean, it's evolved over the years. So basically, every morning I'm up 5 a.m. and I like to get some stretching in, some maybe yoga, and a little bit of meditation, and then I'll get some work in before the kids wake up. That's usually like my set routine. That usually sets me up for the rest of the day, knowing that I got prep myself for the day. And then in between games, the 3x3 format's a little different. We have like 3 games each day. So in between games, I'll just try to put on some headphones on and just really stay in my zone. And after each game, I'll lay down and put my legs up to kind of just breathe and let go of the game that just passed to welcome in the next game. So these are just some things that I do at the moment.
And I'm sure you can attest to this. It's really important to let go, right? Not to hold grudges, not to hold on to, I guess, what ifs. Would that be something that you have learned through this process?
Yes, definitely. I've learned that holding on to past traumas or past grudges, like you said, can really that adds stress to the body and creates disease. So we want to, as much as possible, be able to release that in any form of way by communication or having somebody to talk to on the regular. I can tell you a story like just recently. I've been weighing heavy lately. Like it was probably like 2 months ago. I opened up to my dad about the past and everything, but in the form of me showing gratitude at the same time because certain things that happened during my passing. I remember just breaking down crying. After that, it just feels so relieved, and I was just like, okay, this, it's powerful when you're able to confront maybe the person or thing that that held that trauma and be able to just unload it, and you'll just find yourself freeing up space for more creativity, more inspiration, and that's what I believe, being able to express yourself and unloading what was consuming you to welcome in more ideas, whatever it may be that you're doing. You know what I mean?
And it's important, like you said, letting go, and at the same time, like now you are a mentor to a lot of the youth. I think we are affected growing up. Whatever, whoever or whatever that we experience, if we're not able to let that out or have someone tell us it's okay, then it does carry on to your adult life. And for you, I appreciate Carl, for even putting up a program that helps the youth as young as um, even 5, right?
Yeah.
Are you teaching as young as 5? I
I have
think
a
it's
4-year-old.
yeah,
Yeah.
even it's a critical time for them to know who their mentors are or who are the positive influences in their lives. And like you said, you carried it on up to this age. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
a lot of people who are carrying this burden. I could attest to that. I had a strict dad, and I love him for that. But at the end of the day, of course, I wanted to be able to be close to him, which I am now. But I know how you feel. Like, when you let that go, you let them know that, hey, this affected me. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that feels so good. So for you to be able to be a coach on these youth's lives, like now, the glow in their faces, you can just see them like succeed even more, right? I think that's something that is needed right now. Guys, follow Carl. I'll make sure that all his social media handles are on here, and I'm sure Carl will also invite you guys on his programs and events that is upcoming. So go ahead, Carl. Please share with everyone where they can find you, when your classes are, and whatever else that you're up to. You can also be a life coach, just like your wife,
Yeah.
actually.
Maybe evolve into that one day. But yeah, you guys can all check me out on Instagram at kd.align, and the business site is Align Worldwide. And my website, where September enrollment for the handle course is now available. Everything is done through Zoom. You can register your young athlete at www.alignworldwide.com. It's really easy to set up, and yeah, that's pretty much all the where they can reach me and where they can sign up their kids for the handle course.
Mhm.
And the website's
And
being, and the member site is all being built right now. So stay tuned.
yeah, moms and dads, or anyone who's listening out there, who loves basketball, Carl knows, everything about, the mind, body, and soul being aligned. My own kids have tried and was, had fun with his class. So go ahead and try it out. And you're also learning from international coaches apart from yourself, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have sometimes I'll do like guest coaching with some coaches from the States, and those have been really good. Being able to show these kids that are training in the Philippines that you got these trainers in the States teaching the same stuff that we're teaching. It's all fundamental. So just to get these kids to know that just because they're here doesn't mean they're not getting top level training. They're able to see that what I'm teaching is the same stuff that they're teaching. So it's pretty open their eyes up on that.
Yeah, and like what Carl's name here, it's aligned worldwide. So everybody around the world, Filipinos or different cultures, you can learn from Carl and his program. Like I said, I'll put it all here on the caption on Facebook and on Kumu so that you guys can check it out. We'll also be on Spotify and YouTube. So if you want to learn more about Carl and what we've discussed, you can just click the link and rewatch or listen again. But now, Carl, I want to ask you, of course, we are in this challenging time. I want to get to know a bit about, where you are. What are the new things that you've learned about yourself during this quarantine period?
Mm. Man, I learned, I really have to be present, especially with the family.
Yeah.
During this time, it's it makes people think about another plan, right? Everyone's trying to figure out something new because the old way is not working right now. So I think just trying to be present with my family and try to be really efficient with my work and block distractions. This is everyone's cooped up in the house. Everyone's at this, everyone's pretty much in start right now. So it's just pretty much trying to be present, like I said again, with the kids and be as efficient as possible with myself and with my work.
And patience, right?
Yeah,
I know. I was talking to Crystal about that. I mean, as parents, of course, it's like not like a 9 to 5 job. It's like different every day. So, how are you as a dad during this time?
Oh man, I've been tested a lot. But understanding that these kids aren't getting the same interaction as they were before, so just trying to be patient and present with them, and I feel like we're all just trying to make it work. We're all trying to survive and thrive at the same time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
being able to have a healthy balance in life, discovering healthy balance because we don't know when this thing's going to end, and we don't know if things will ever go back to the same. So it's really trying to make everything work and come up with a new plan, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, be good to others.
I'm sure your household is more, what would you call it, livelier than a lot of households out there. So you're blessed. Same goes with my household. But again, you just have to be thankful of what you have right now, and appreciative with your content, or with your creativity, with your program. Again, guys, check out Karl Dehesa's Align classes. I'll make sure to share those, and I'll get the schedule also from Karl. Another thing, maybe you can share, Karl, your words of wisdom, most especially during this time. I know a lot of people are feeling low morale. What would be your advice to them on staying hopeful and knowing that there's still more opportunities their way after all of this? We find a cure and we can go back and be outside again.
Yeah, definitely. Some words of wisdom I can say is to just ride this wave. Whatever you're going through, just know that it's not going to last very long, and we got to ride through these emotions, and whatever you may be feeling at the moment, understand that that's exactly how you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be at that moment, and to do better to get up out of that whatever you're feeling, or continue to ride that high that you're on, and to continue to stay balanced and to hug your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is.
So, thanks, Karl.
What was that?
No, I was saying thank you for sharing all that. But go ahead, you're not done.
I lost my train of thought now. It's all good. Yeah.
No, when you get it back, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's tuned in. We have Joe Fish from Singapore. He said keyword development. You shared that earlier, Karl. We have my mom in Sydney. You're always supporting. Thank you, Mom. And everyone on Kumu, I see you guys. I hope you're learning and you're motivated, inspired by what Karl has shared with you guys. I know he has more to share, so please join his classes. Again, I will make sure that all his contacts on social media is on this caption. And Karl, maybe you have some shout outs you want to say hi to, or invite people again to your next class.
Definitely. I want to shout out my wife, Crystal, my kids, Noah and Nas. They're in the other room listening in. But
I'll see you soon, Crystal.
Yeah. All the Align kids out there, if they're watching, appreciate all you guys, always working hard whenever I see them. And to all the fans out there, and also your viewers and viewers on Kumu, appreciate all you guys for logging in and tuning in, taking the time to to hear my story. And
Thanks, Karl.
you're welcome.
Go
Can I
ahead.
plug
Who else?
the handle course again? September enrollment for the handle course is now open. There's registration is open today. You can go to the website www.alignworldwide.com. Real easy to sign up, and they can also anybody can reach me on Instagram. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions, any types of need any tips and advice on how the mind works with the mind, body, and spirit technique that I do with my basketball training. Shoot me a question, and I'll reply as soon as I can.
Karl, maybe you can share a little bit of what, do you have any yoga classes online or books that you read or any references or material that you can share right now with the viewers that they can try to?
A great book that I like that I've read is The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. Must read for athletes coming up. It's real easy. And also The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. He's a really good storyteller, and again talks about having strong habits. It's a really good read, and I enjoy those two books right now at the moment. And I'm rereading Mindful Athlete.
Thanks, Karl. Again, guys, there's so much good material here that Karl shared. His story alone is very inspirational. So, like he said, he is more than happy to answer any more questions, or if you want advice, with what we've talked about today, reach out to him, and he will be, replying to you, and you'll be surprised of what else you can learn from him. Karl, thank you again for taking the time to be part of this campaign. I really appreciate you. Nick appreciates you. Good luck with your program, and God bless your family. Like I said, Crystal, I'll see you soon. So with that, guys, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Thanks, Karl.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.